So you want to move to San Antonio, Texas? In this video, we're going to talk about a crucial aspect of the home buying process, which is the appraisal.
Whether you're the buyer or the seller, you're more than likely going to have to go through this process. We're going to discuss the steps of it, the importance of it, and what both parties need to be doing during this pivotal time in the home buying or home selling process. We're going to get started on that fun topic right now. If this is your first time in our channel, welcome. Please remember to subscribe, tap the bell, and you'll be the first to receive notifications of upcoming videos as well as the changes in our San Antonio market.
We're Brian and Brenda Jones, the proud owners of Lone Star Home Realty, and we get calls from people just like you every day. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, it doesn't matter. Give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you.
All of our contact information is in the box below. You can call us, text us, email us. You can even set up a Zoom. Whatever's easiest for you is great for us. We just want to help you make a smooth move to the San Antonio area.
The appraisal process.
Let's get
is
started.
pretty important.
Let's begin.
So basically, the real estate appraisal is an opinion of value. It's done by a licensed appraiser, licensed by the state, and they have specific information that must be on the report, and they have specific guidelines they have to abide by.
So if there is a mortgage on a loan or on a property buy-sell, I should say, if there's a mortgage involved in this, the lender is more than likely going to request an appraisal. Very, very rarely do they waive it because they do, but very rare. What they're wanting to do is ensure on their end that the property that they're paying for is actually worth as much or more than what they're lending.
The lender wants to make sure they're covered.
Yeah, they don't want you to be upside down going in and then they're going to be in trouble on the back end. So the appraiser's going to pull a lot of valuable information, comps on the area. They'll go through everything like that to be able to get that opinion of value. So let's go through the process.
Step by step. So once the lender has given you a pre-approval and you're under contract with the seller, the contract then goes to the lender and they order an appraisal. And
so they'll do that at the very beginning once we have an accepted contract. So
they have different ways of ordering the appraisal, and it's arm's length, so the lender has no contact with the appraiser at all whatsoever at any time.
And neither do the agents. Nobody has any.
Well, the listing agent does.
But we don't have any input or any say-so of who's coming out to appraise. What I'm saying.
No, there's no. It's about as random as you can get.
Yeah.
Because they want to make this as completely unbiased as possible.
So once it's done, the appraiser is scheduled. They will come out and actually visit the property. They will walk the property. They're going to inspect it. It's not going to go as deep as the inspection process.
Right.
They're not going to get into the weeds like that, but they're definitely going to walk the property, check it out, take notes, take photos, everything to document what they need to be able to support the value of the house they're putting on it.
There may be a time when an appraiser goes out there and they find something that needs to be corrected, and that might lead to a lender required repair. And if that's the case, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But that could definitely affect your contract. And
when that happens, so most of the time they'll go back out there to confirm the repairs have been made.
They will do.
Before approving it.
So after the appraisal, he does his walkthrough, he goes to the neighborhood, he takes pictures of comps. They will do their research and analysis. They go take a deep dive into the comps, and that's where they make their adjustments as to this one has a pool, this one doesn't, this one's got 4 bedrooms, the other one's got 3. It's 2-story versus 1-story, square footage. They do all of those adjustments and they come up with a value. So that leads to the appraisal report creation. And the report is typically pretty long. It could be 10, 15, 20 pages, depending on the property. And the appraiser has a lot of information that they need to get to you. And they're showing all the information that they gleaned from the MLS, from their walkthrough of your property, how they arrived at the value.
And they get all of that back to the lender. The lender is going to review it. They're going to make sure everything looks good. It meets all of the requirements for the loan. And then if it's satisfactory, then we can go ahead and start moving towards closing.
So when the lender's reviewing it, that's the lender's underwriter. They're taking a real close examination of the appraisal to make sure there's no mistakes, there's no errors in calculations. They go through with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that what's stated on the value is reasonable.
Okay, so what are some of the problems or challenges that could come up with the appraisal process?
Well, the obvious ones are the value comes in below the contract price.
Easy.
And that's not fun.
No.
What you want is for the appraisal value to come in at value or above. And there's been many times when we're doing a contract and the value comes above the contract price. I don't think we've ever had an appraisal process or appraisal that came in below value.
No, I don't think so. I think we're pretty good. Knock on wood. You've been good.
We do our due diligence as well to make sure that
we do a lot
when an appraiser goes out there, we do our homework first to be able to tell our buyers this property is overpriced. This is what we would recommend going in at. And
negotiate to get to that.
Because and a lot of times I'll ask the listing agent, can you show me your comps where you came up with that price?
So if it does come in low, there's, again, it's back to the negotiation table because we can't close with this issue hanging out there.
So there are several options with that, and one is you can walk away
completely and get your money back.
get your earnest money back,
except for what you spent on inspections.
Right, and you still have to pay for the appraisal, which could be up to around $500 or more depending on the property. You could negotiate with the seller to maybe find some middle ground, and you come up with some additional funds. They reduce the price to meet you somewhere in the middle. A third option is the seller just drops the price altogether to the appraised value, which is common. What happens. And the sellers can, with that in mind, they can also walk away if you're not willing to negotiate.
But the seller can also provide, if they have some substantial data and comps that the appraiser may not have used.
Or some upgrades that
he doesn't know
appraiser didn't take in a...
They can definitely give that to the appraiser and have them kind of review it and see if that makes any changes to it.
Another issue that is common with appraisal process is that affects the value dramatically is the condition of the property. You may be wanting to sell your house for $350,000, but you haven't done anything to this property in 5 years, or maybe longer. There's a lot of deferred maintenance. So that's why you come in and the appraisal value maybe is $325 because you need a new roof. There's lots of different reasons.
So one way that as a seller you can hopefully avoid that is to, one, maintain your home. 2, get a pre-inspection, which our sellers...
We always try and do that.
We try and recommend that we get an inspection done beforehand so we know exactly what the issues are going in. And most of the time we fix the majority of them, leave some of the small stuff that's not a big deal, but get the big stuff out of the way. And that will definitely help with the appraisal.
If your property qualifies, we pay for the pre-inspection.
Because we want to make sure you're going in, we're setting you up for success as well.
Right.
Okay, so market conditions.
They also take in that into account because if we're currently as we're making this video, we're in a buyer's market. And so there's a lot of competition for these houses. So an appraiser is going to take that into account. And if they see that your you're valued above what the competition is, they're going to knock you down.
But also, though, if we're in a hot market like we were a few years ago, sales are going so fast, the appraiser can't keep up with this is a comp, but that's not what it went for. So that could definitely play some
absolutely
back and forth, and all of us have to maintain knowledge about what's going on, what's driving the market, and how is that impacting the comps, because that can definitely impact the appraisal.
So what should buyers navigate this process?
1, understand how important this is. This is not something that we can just kind of slip under the rug and get past it. It is very important. It affects, it affects your financing and can truly make or break the whole deal. So just know it's very important. Be prepared to negotiate. I'm sorry, I don't know what you were going to say.
If you're going into a new build, don't worry about it. The builder's going to get their own appraisal done. Builders are new builds are completely on a different playing field. So, but this is mainly for existing homes.
Yeah. And be prepared to negotiate. And, if it comes in low, you have to either negotiate it, like Brian was saying, going through all of that. You may have to increase your down payment to make up the difference.
Yeah.
Or keep your walkaway power from the very beginning, because it may come into play where you're just going to have
Absolutely.
to say, this isn't going to happen.
Stay flexible either way.
Yeah. Just maintain. Like I said, maintain the walkaway power, know that can happen, and it's just another step in the negotiation process.
So let's talk about how sellers can navigate the appraisal process and keep it to their advantage.
You can also get not only a pre-inspection, you can also get a pre-appraisal. I will tell you, on homes that we've listed that are unique, they're in a different type of a neighborhood, there's just not comps available. For that house, we have paid for a private appraisal to be done, because we want to make sure that we know going in what is it generally going to come for? Where are we guessing the lender's appraiser is going to come in at?
Now, one thing to keep in mind, there's a lot of realtors who don't feel like private appraisal is worth much. What we do when we get a private appraisal done is we ask the appraiser to do this just like they were doing it for a lender. So we don't ask for any specific value. We don't tell them this is what we're looking for. We ask for value and do the same thing that you would do for any lender.
Yeah. So to help you as a seller, make sure that your curb appeal is very nice.
Huge.
That's a first impression.
Not only for the buyer, but for the appraiser
too. For the appraiser too. When the appraiser walks up, he's either going to go, oh, this is a dump, or he's going to go, man, this place is really nice. Yeah, it's an older home, but man, this is really nice. So you want to make sure that you're impacting, like you said, not only the buyer, but the appraiser and anybody else that's involved in this.
Absolutely. Provide access and documentation. That's huge. So the appraiser is going to make an appointment similar to how your agent made you an appointment to get into the house to begin with. But that's also important for the seller. The seller's got to be available to make the home available for the appraiser to come in. So we also need to provide any documents as far as upgrades that you may have done to the house. If you replaced the flooring, if you upgraded the roof, not replaced the roof, or upgraded the roof. If you've added a pool, if you've added a back patio, whatever. Those are all upgrades that the appraiser should and will consider in their appraisal
but
value.
But also if you just did it. I mean,
yes.
It's different if you replaced the dishwasher a year and a half ago, or if I just replaced it a week ago.
Right.
Those kind of things do come into play.
Another important part of this
is huge.
This is huge. Stay out of the way. Don't engage with the appraiser.
Now,
it's okay to be home.
Yeah, because normally when the inspection's gone, we're going to ask the sellers, leave. Do not be on the property. Give them space, give them time to investigate the home, and then negotiate. Discuss what they're going to want to negotiate. So don't be there. It's not the case for the appraisal. You as the seller can be at the property. You can give them access, let them in.
Provide them with documentation, but
don't discuss the house.
Don't discuss the value of the house. Don't try and influence them in any way, shape, or form.
No,
can't say that strongly enough.
We need it to be a neutral evaluation of the house.
And then be prepared for negotiations if necessary.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so you want to, as a buyer and a seller, just going into this process, again, remember, understand it and know the importance of this process. It's very vital to getting this thing to closing, and it's generally, the appraisal piece comes generally at the very, very close end of the process. So everybody's excited, everybody's packed, everybody's ready to go, and it can be a final little hump in the road we got to get over. So just know how important it is.
Prepare effectively, whether you're buying or selling, it doesn't matter. Be ready to negotiate again if the value comes in low. and maintain open communication with your realtor, us, and throughout the process.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you comment below. I know the appraisal can be kind of a very intimidating time, and most people don't understand it or know the details of it. Comment below and let us know if you've run into any problems, if you've had to negotiate on the appraisal of your property, or if you lost the deal completely because of the appraisal. But let us know, and let us know what your thoughts are on the topic.
Thanks for watching, guys, to the end, and we really appreciate you coming back to the channel, and we'll talk to the next one.
Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell.
Absolutely.
Have a great one.